The signal arrived without ceremony, a thin ribbon of data slipping through the listening arrays beyond the orbit of Neptune. The machines that caught it felt nothing, yet the people watching them did. In a quiet control room on Luna Station, Amir leaned forward as the translation engine struggled to shape the strange pulses into meaning. He had spent his life chasing faint patterns in cosmic noise, and for years the universe had answered with silence. Now, the silence had shifted. The message was not a greeting. It was a map. It carried measurements of distance, radiation, and the signature of a distant star. A mathematical constant repeated through it, like a steady heartbeat. Humanity had sent such logic into space for a century. Seeing it returned felt like a mirror turning in the dark. Amir called the others from their rest cycles. Lila arrived first, eyes sharp despite the hour. Tomas followed with a tablet in hand, and Ravi came last, fastening his uniform as he moved. They stood before the main display as the translation refined itself. Coordinates formed, pointing toward a region where nothing had ever been recorded. The discovery spread across human space in seconds. On Earth, crowds gathered under glowing screens. In orbit, workers paused to listen. The old dream of contact returned with the weight of proof. The council met within the hour. Malik spoke for caution. Noor argued for movement. Hannah watched in silence, her life spent studying a moment no one thought would come. The decision became a compromise. One vessel would travel to the coordinates, observe from a fixed boundary, and return. The ship would be the Horizon. Preparation moved with urgency. Supplies were loaded. Systems checked again and again. Messages from across the world filled the crew archive. Prayers, jokes, simple words of pride. The old divisions of humanity seemed small against what waited in the dark. Before departure, Amir stood in the observation ring and watched Earth rise, a fragile blue curve holding every memory he had. Lila joined him without speaking. When the call to board came, they walked to the airlock together. The Horizon left Luna with slow grace and turned toward the outer night. Inside, routines formed to keep fear away. Tomas monitored the incoming signal. Ravi tended the engines with careful hands. Noor held the link to distant control. Hannah recorded everything in a calm voice that never wavered. Days passed. The sun shrank. The signal grew stronger until it came directly to the ship. The translation began to show variation, as if the sender had noticed their approach. Amir studied the patterns for long hours. He began to see structure, not words but relationships. The data described physical laws both sides shared. It was not a conversation yet, but it was an invitation. The boundary appeared on the navigation display as a simple sphere. When the Horizon reached it, the engines fell silent. Ahead lay a region once marked empty, now it shimmered. Lila focused the external cameras. A vast structure unfolded, delicate and bright. It rotated around a common center, surfaces catching distant sunlight and returning it in controlled beams. No weapon signatures appeared. The signal shifted and returned with a model of the Horizon itself. The unknown intelligence had measured them and learned their motion. Hannah spoke softly into the archive, describing the stillness on the command deck. In that silence, the long history of humanity seemed to gather. Noor prepared the response, a package of mathematics, art, and recorded voices. The message was simple. We are here. We seek to learn. We do not come with harm. Ravi released the transmission. For a moment, nothing changed. Then panels opened along the distant structure and formed a lattice of light. The beam returned, transformed. Human images stood beside unknown geometries. Voices aligned with sounds no human throat could produce. It was an answer that said, "We hear you." The Horizon held its position. The exchange of data grew richer. The unknown side shared models of its environment and the energy that sustained it, though its true form remained hidden. On Earth, people gathered in places long empty. Children were told this was the moment the story changed. Malik watched from the council chamber and saw not the end of human independence, but a reflection of human persistence. Time moved in a state of suspended breath. The crew began to speak in quieter tones. Small objects from their homes appeared in the common area, tokens of a world far behind them. Then the structure changed again. A single element drifted toward the boundary and released a small object that stopped just short of crossing. The polyhedron turned slowly in the dark, reflecting faint sunlight. Protocol demanded they do nothing. Humanity had agreed to observe and return. Amir looked at the others. No words were needed. The decision rose from the shared history of a species that had never remained still before the unknown. A drone moved to the boundary and waited. The polyhedron drifted into its field. For a moment, the entire human world seemed balanced on that contact. Then, the drone drew back. No alarm sounded. The distant structure shifted its rotation in a pattern that matched the first constant, a sign that needed no translation. Amir held the object in the analysis chamber. It was warm and alive with shifting light that responded to his touch. It was not a machine. It was a bridge. Across Earth, the news spread like sunrise. Some called it a violation. Others called it the first handshake. Malik gave no reprimand. He saw a future opening in a single human choice. Hannah closed her record with a simple line. Humanity had reached out and been answered. The horizon remained at the boundary, its mission forever changed. Two lights in the vast night, connected by a fragile thread of understanding that grew stronger with every passing hour.